Hey YouTube, how you doing? This is Raj here, and I'm back with a fragrance review on one of my favourite colognes from a British company called Czech Speake, and I'm going to be reviewing their cologne, which was their first one which they put out, called Number 88. But originally, actually, Czech Speake weren't a fragrance company, they were a design company, and they still are to date. It was founded in 1978 by a guy called Frank Sawkins, and he set up the company to produce bathroom fittings at the very high-end luxurious side of things. You know, they're using materials which have you know, like very nice finishes and using expensive materials, and they do like bespoke bathroom fittings and you know, things for around the house like shower heads and taps and toilet seats and all this sort of stuff. So that's kind of like how the company started, but then they expanded their range to go into fragrances, and they've got a range of about 10 odd fragrances there, and yeah, definitely worth checking out. I got my hands on all 9 of them actually, because at the time Vetiver Vert, Green Vetiver, wasn't produced, so that's their newest cologne. So if you do get a chance to go onto their website, you pay £2.50, I believe, for UK prices. Maybe international might be a little bit more, but for £2.50 at least, you get all the 10 samples, about 1 milliliter, 1.5 milliliter, in a very well presented package. You have a sort of a brochure giving details of Czech Speake, the company, and all the fragrances, and it's a nicely designed brochure. And they've also got on these little cardboard cards, I don't have any of them on me at the moment because I think I've thrown out a few of them, but they have on a cardboard card which is cut out to be similar to the shape of a bottle, and on the back of that card they have the design of the bottle as what it would look like, and on the, if you flip it over, it also gives a few sentences on the description of the fragrance. So definitely, you know, go out there and sample it. I don't think £2.50 is a lot to spend on 10 samples. If you think about a lot of companies, they will charge, you know, £2.50, £3, £5 for just one sample. So I think a pretty good way of introducing yourself into the brand. So they've got a couple of stores in London. They also are stocked around the world. In US, they're stocked in New York. I don't know these places. I've never been to New York, but places called Cambridge, a place called Cambridge Chemists, and a place called Min, New York. So if you're in New York and you're interested in this brand, those are the places to go and sniff them out. They also have stockists all around the world, and also other places in the US as well, and the UK. So I have actually been to their German Street store. That's their that's their sort of flagship store, if you like, or where they were originally founded, in German Street. And if anybody doesn't know about German Street, or the sort of like the Mayfair area, or if you're a tourist coming into London, coming into the UK, it's definitely a place to go and have a look around, because you're not just getting fragrances there. You've got, and actually just before I tell you about that, it's mainly focused on men's products, so it's great for the guys. You know, you've got your traditional barbers there selling fragrances and shaving creams and shaving brushes. You have a cigar shop there called Davidoff, where I get a few cigars from now and again on the rare occasion. You've got suit makers and shirt makers selling, in my opinion, the best shirts in the world. You know, you can go to a German Street shirt maker and you can pay a whole variety of prices. You know, you can pay £25 for a top quality Egyptian cotton shirts, or you can pay, you know, like, you know, up to say £200 for a really high-end, super high-end shirt. And yeah, you've got kind of like suit makers there, the likes of Dunhill, TM Lewin, Duchamp, just to name a few. You've got some nice restaurants on that street as well, and I think there's a theatre there as well, or a cinema, I'm not 100% sure. So definitely a nice place to go and look around, and it's you know, just to spend an afternoon walking down that street. You've got so many shops. Yeah, definitely worth paying a visit. So I did that. I actually bought the sample pack first before I went into the store. So I was in the area and I went into the store, and it's it's not really a sort of like a fragrance haven, or it's not like your traditional fragrance shop, because you've got fragrances on one side and then you've got your sort of, as I mentioned earlier, they do bathroom fittings and all that sort of design side of things on one side. But it's a very elegant shop and worth paying a visit to them. So let's get into number 88. This is their first cologne, and number 88, it's called that because their store on German Street is number 39, and opposite that they had their studio, or I'm not 100% sure whether this is Czech Speake studio or this is where the owner actually lived, but this is where the perfume was created. So let's get it out. This is the box. It doesn't come as a surprise to me that the design is pretty awesome. You've got, it's a nice mixture between the black and the white, and you've got this sort of 88 symbol spiraling around the side of the box. I'm not sure how much you can pick it up, but it's pretty awesome. And on the front, maybe I'll get a close-up there. It says, makers of fine toiletries, Czech Speake, aromatics, number 88, German Street. It's a cologne, it's very strong, similar to an eau de parfum, to be honest. 100 milliliter, 3.4 fluid ounces. It also does come in a bigger size, a 200 milliliter bottle, but that's a shaker, or sort of like a splash bottle. So yeah, and on the back, an ingredients list, and made in England, which is good to see. I like to support products which are British made, and this is a British company, so I kind of have, I'm kind of immediately interested in it. So let's get the bottle out. They've got an unnecessary amount of sort of flaps and things coming in the way, to be honest. It's not a big deal, but I don't really know why they have so much. You've got these two flaps, and then you've got these two as well. And then you've got your kind of like standard one on the top. Now this is the best bit, the bottle. Again, I don't know how much cameras can pick up. If you can see it, it's pretty much the same logo embossed on here, and this is probably one of the most stylish bottles I've seen. On the back it says Czech Speake aromatics, kind of like engraved or embossed onto it. And it's just one of the most stylish bottles I've seen. It stands out. Normally fragrance bottles are transparent. They're made of glass and you can see the liquid inside. Here you have no idea how much is left or what the colour looks like, but it all adds to the sort of the design element of it, and it's very unique. And on the top you've got the C and S logo at the top there. The cap is quite sturdy. It'll definitely stay on. What I don't like about some fragrances is that, and it's a small point, but when you have a cap and it's very loose and it's coming off, and you've paid us a large amount of money for a fragrance and you get a cap which doesn't even stay on, it's kind of like a little bit, it's sort of like slightly irritating. But Tom Ford Private Blend, the cap doesn't even stay on, it's very flimsy, but the design of the bottle is great. So this is pretty nice. And the atomizer, well, you don't get a huge amount that comes out, so you may have to spray a few more times than you normally would. And around the side here you've got simply just a sticker, 88 cologne. A really great bottle, I can't stop looking at it actually, it's pretty awesome. So how much does this cost? Well, in the UK you can get this for £75. And in America, now I'm not 100% sure why the prices are so high. I've had a look on a couple of US based websites, and they're selling the Czech Speake range for $185. Now I just did a little conversion using the current conversion rate, and I don't know why you're paying so much. I'm thinking it should be $120 maximum, but maybe some sort of tax or some sort of import duties have had to be put on top of that. So maybe even buy it off the UK website and get it shipped. You may have to pay a little bit extra for shipping, but you might have to kind of like ask the company or send them an email and find out. But $185 doesn't seem like good value to me. So yeah, I mean, let's get into the note breakdown now. I have sprayed this on, and I purposefully sprayed it on about an hour ago. I didn't want to spray it on initially because there's so much going on in this fragrance. It's extremely complex, so I wanted to just kind of like let it mellow down a bit. So the top notes, you're getting rose. It says that they have rose otto in there. I don't know what otto means, but probably some form of rose, and that's very strong. Now, before any of you guys, change the channel or switch over, bear in mind that rose, if it's done well, and in this occasion it's done in a very dark way, it's a very sort of dark scent you get. You're not getting a sort of typical grandmother light floral rose scent. This is on the darker side of things, and I don't think it's just because of the quality of the rose. I think it's because there's other ingredients coming through as well. I get that it says it has bergamot in it. I can't necessarily pick it up too much, mainly because the rose is quite strong, and also there are some very, very heady floral scents in here as well, which start to take over now. And I never heard of these ingredients, but they're called cassie, or maybe cassia, I think it's also known as, and frangipani as well. So very sort of like exotic flowers with intense aromas. If I had to make a comparison, maybe something like similar to like a jasmine or something, but maybe not quite the intensity of a jasmine, which is good for me because I don't like anything too strong and too floral. But this is a different type of floral. This is a kind of more complex, much more deeper, and to the point where it potentially could give you a headache. And this is where, for me, when I first tried this cologne on, it was borderline. I'm thinking, I do like the top notes, but where is this going to go? Is this floral scent going to continue? Because if it does, I'm not really going to be enjoying it. This is going out of control. Is it going to calm down a bit? And it does eventually, thankfully, because you have vetiver and sandalwood in there, which make the scent so complex. You've got your florals in there, and your woods in there as well, and different types of florals, and vetiver and sandalwood just come out and make it an extremely smooth finish as well. But to be honest, the rose is the dominating scent, and it stays with you from top through the heart all the way through the base as well. It does calm down a little bit, but it's still very, very strong. And this fragrance is definitely very potent, and it's claimed to be a unisex fragrance. I can see both men and women wearing this. You've got the rose and the floral, which is going to appeal to the women. I think the rose will appeal to the guys and may take some of you by surprise as well. And the vetiver and sandalwood makes it a kind of like very well-rounded fragrance as well. It is exceptionally unique, I would say, as well, and I don't think this is one for everyone. There's going to be some people out there who will hate this, and I can understand why. I think that flowery sort of, maybe it's the cassie oil in there or the frangipani, which makes it maybe too intense and too much to take. But I can see some people loving this as well. I also heard that Ozzy Osbourne is a fan of this as well. So yeah, if it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for me, I think. But this is an amazing fragrance, and definitely get a sample off the website if you can. And that you don't want to spray too much of this because it can get too much. I would say maybe one to the chest and maybe a couple on the wrist. And you don't want anything too much around the neck, head area, otherwise it's going to become so intense, it's going to give you a headache. But I've never smelled anything like it before, and this rose, I could get used to rose-based scents. I never really thought that rose could work in a men's fragrance, but I was pleasantly surprised. So, in terms of a rating and sort of like projection and longevity, you want to hold back on the trigger on this. This will put people into a coma if you spray too much of this. Calm down, 1, 2, 3 sprays maximum, not too much. Actually, maybe 3.5 or 4, because this sprayer doesn't give out so much, doesn't spray too much as other fragrances do. So maybe 4 absolute maximum, and spread it around your body as well. So projection, it projects like crazy. It does calm down after a while, thankfully, otherwise this would just be out of control. And you know, the vetiver and the sandalwood give it a nice kind of woody scent to it. It's you know, it's very hard to distinguish. Like I don't necessarily pick up vetiver and sandalwood, maybe because of the way it's blended together. But this is superb, and yeah, it's a very all-round fragrance. You've got a nice blend of woods in there. You've got different types of florals in there as well. So it's not just a linear floral. I think this is where the fragrance is probably at its best. You know, I did mention earlier that florals was sending it on the borderline of going a bit crazy and a bit over the top, but I think this is where the fragrance excels, with the different levels of florals in there. They've really combined different types of scents, rather, because you know some florals can smell the same, but they've got some extremely intense, full-bodied florals in here. So it's really well done, and I really like it. Longevity, it does stay on for quite a long time because it's so strong. It's described as a cologne, but you know it's got eau de parfum strength, to be honest. People have mentioned about this scent that it's quite difficult to wear, and some people have said that you can wear it to a funeral. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily wear this to work. I wouldn't. This is for the. I would say this is for a daring person. You know, somebody who's not afraid to jump out of the box and try something new, and they like scents which take you by surprise and want something different. This is definitely different. This is not your average sort of you can't play it safe with this fragrance. You wear it, and you wear it with sort of pride, and you wear it with confidence. You don't think, oh, you know, I'm going to try this on and try and pull it off during the day. You know you're going to pull it off because you know, this is not sort of like for people who are into light scents. This is extremely strong, but I like it. You know, I really like it. And when I wear it, this is probably the hardest thing for me to say. I don't really know where the best time is to wear it. You know, maybe on an evening, in a cooler month in the summer. I'm not sure this would work. I think it would just be so much. You know, with those florals, and you know, sometimes when you walk through a garden and it's very hot, and you walk past like a rose bush or an area where there are lots of different florals in there, I actually find that scent a little bit too strong for my liking, and that it follows you around. You know, it's got this sort of density in the air which just permeates for quite a long time, and for a distance as well, which I'm not a massive fan of. So this is where this fragrance potentially sort of falls down, in that there's too much floral in there. But definitely worth giving it a try. Buy the sample pack, £2.50, probably if you're an international person, a little bit of shipping on top of that as well. Overall rating, I don't have to hesitate to say this, I'm going to give this a 9. It's not a 10, but it's close to a 10. I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10 here. You've got exceptional design, and I think that's quite important. You've got a great bottle. You've got a very daring fragrance. It's not trying to appease the masses. It's there for a certain type of person who likes a certain type of scent. Very sophisticated, very full-bodied, in-your-face, dense, long-lasting. Not too expensive. I think £75 from a UK perspective. There are lots of other fragrances out there where you get less juice for, you know, a much higher price. So it's at the higher end, but nothing too outrageous. A good investment. I think this bottle will last you a long time, simply because there aren't so many occasions when you can wear it. So this is not an everyday scent. You know, I don't really wear it too often. But that's fine. It's going to last me a long time, and that's what I like about it. And get it out on a special occasion. And also in terms of other scents in the range, you've got Neroli, which I quite liked, a nice sort of fresh, uplifting kind of the orange blossom scent. Unisex, really enjoyed it. I think it's a good, cheaper alternative to, or relatively cheaper alternative to, Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino. I really liked Oxford and Cambridge, nice lavender, a kind of spearmint, a herbaceous top and middle notes there. Took me by surprise. I didn't think I would like lavender too much. And I bought frankincense and myrrh, very incensey, smoky, kind of a Middle Eastern vibe there to it. Amazing fragrance. A few others which were kind of on the feminine side and all slightly disappointed me. I was a bit disappointed in Cuba. It kind of just disintegrates, or doesn't even start for me as anything decent. It doesn't smell. It's quite offensive a little bit. I wanted to get like peppery scents and spices and rum, that sort of thing, and tobacco. I didn't really. I did get that, but I didn't like it. And there's a couple of other average ones in there, rose and citrus paradisi, but definitely worth trying. Go for the sample pack. Try it on your skin, definitely. These are definitely fragrances which you don't just sniff, you try them on your skin as well, because they do develop nicely. And yeah, check out the range. I think you'll be surprised by some, you'll be pleased by some, you probably will dislike some of them. I think some of the scents can be a love-or-hate thing. And yeah, check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.